Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, it's for you. Remember, they're general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share if you should so choose and it resonates. Hit that subscribe button. For your key to the week this week, you have the Magician card. You have the power to affect massive change in your own life this week, Pisces. But really, it kind of depends on you taking action. The Magician card, it does speak to personal power. It does often speak to where we are given the opportunity to wield that power, but we have to do it consciously, which means it has to be a conscious decision. It can't just be, I'll go with the flow, right? Your sign is known for that. You do it better than anybody else. You are the epitome of water, in my personal opinion, because, water, Pisces is mutable water. So for me, Pisces is like the ultimate water sign, but the Magician card doesn't. The Magician card, whenever it shows up, all of the cards have certain qualities. One of the qualities of this card is action. If you want change, if you want movement, if you want the new job, if you want more money, whatever it is that you want, the Magician says it can absolutely be yours. In all of these different areas of life, you have everything that you need to affect massive change in your life, but it will require action. If you want to sit back and just wait for it to come to you, I'm sorry to say you're going to be sadly disappointed, all right? You have the power this week. You have to use it, right? If you're given the power to use the wand or wield the wand in some way, you got to use it, right? You got to be an active participant. Your actions and options this week is the King of Wands, right? If that wasn't a clear message, the literal wielder of the wand, right? King of Wands in your sector of actions and interactions with the world at large, your actions and options, which is all about what you do. The King of Wands, usually a fire sign male, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, could be somebody that plays a supporting role in this. But the King of Wands is two things. One, this is somebody who is demonstrative, which means they are a go-getter. They don't wait, they don't hold back, they don't wait for somebody to give them. They get after it and they take it and they make it happen for themselves regardless. The other thing with the King of Wands, it's about visibility. This is about being seen to do the thing that you say you want to do. It's not enough just to say like, oh, I'll work behind the scenes and all of that, right? If you want it this week, you've got to get active, you've got to get out there, you've got to get after it. The options that are available to you this week, the King of Wands gives you the option as to whether you are actually going to perform or to show up. This is the universe saying, you want the goods, you got to ante up, you got to show up here, right? If you want that success, if you want that job, if you want that pay rise, if you want whatever, you've got to be an active participant. You have to choose it and then you have to go after it. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Seven of Cups. So this, because the Seven of Cups can be a card of sort of, it's not so much overdoing it, it's just that there's too many things on the plate. This week, simplify, right? Simplify whatever it is that you're working on. If you've got 4 options, narrow it down to 2. If you've got, 6 main projects that you're working on, narrow it down to 3. You're being asked to really simplify, because at the moment it's kind of like you've just got life soup, right? So I say this, like when I'm doing a tarot reading for a client, I will only pull so many sets of cards, because otherwise you end up with so many cards on the table, you're not getting clarity out of that, right? It's not more and more and more, and that gives you more clarity. That doesn't help anybody. Sometimes you have to strip it back, all right? And this Seven of Cups, very often when this card shows up, there's too many options on the table, right? So in your career and your studies, simplify. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this with the King of Wands, I don't think what your peers or your lecturers are looking for from you is flourish. I don't think they want frill. It looks like what they want is more substance versus style. All right, you can make it look good later, and I'll give you a really good example. As many of you know, you wouldn't be able to tell looking at my chunky ass now, but many moons ago I used to dance, and you know, if I blow my own trumpet a little bit, I was actually very good. When you first learn a routine, you're just learning the steps, right? At that point, it doesn't, like, you know, you can make it look half decent, but it doesn't look good, right? It's not a performance. When you get to stage and you've done it so many times and all the rest of it, that's when you put the little, right? Like, you put your personality and your stamp and all the rest of it. You're able to do that because the steps aren't being counted in your head anymore. This is akin to that, right? If you're studying, and actually for those of you that are employed by somebody else, it might not look good, it might not have the finesse or the polish yet, right? But that will come. Just get the stuff down pat, and then you'll be able to make it look good, right? They're not looking for flourish, they're looking for substance versus the style. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, you will undoubtedly this week, you people more than anybody else I think will know what I'm talking about. You got so many ideas pop in, you got so many desires that you want to enact, you know you've got the power to do all of it, and yet still you're not making any progress. And this week I think you're going to understand which options are not viable. And sometimes it's not even that the options on the table are not viable at all, it's just that they're not viable now. If you've been with me long enough, you'll have heard me tell you this story. Some of the things that you see me releasing now in terms of courses and webinars and all the rest of it are ideas that I had 3+ years ago. They weren't ready then, right? I've got one major project that I'm about to bring you. I'm really, really, really excited about this. I came up with this idea in 2018. Right, and only now. I mean, it's been out there before, but never in this capacity that I'm about to do it. Right, like, trust me, when you see it, you're gonna be like, "Damn, that was good." Right, 2018, I had that idea, right, and I put it out. It wasn't really ready then. Now it's ready. Like, I can feel it. The climate of the world is ready for it, and this is why I say, like, this week, if you own your own business, you'll be acutely aware. Right, okay, you know what? This isn't for now. Let me shelve that, and what I have got that's working, let me do the King of Wands and the Magician with that, right? Finally, for those of you that are retired and no longer working, this, I think, is something that you would prefer to be private, but unfortunately, it won't be. There's something that you would prefer to keep under wraps this week, but unfortunately it looks like it will make its way out into public knowledge regardless, maybe through conversation. For your love and relations, you've got the High Priestess. Look at that, right? High Priestess, hidden things revealed. What did I just say, right? Something that you would rather sort of kept hidden, whether you're single or partnered. Something will come to light this week, and when it is shared, it may be something that you would have preferred not to be common knowledge, but unfortunately you don't have that option, right? This is just about finding a way to navigate that. I apologise, as you can see, I'm struggling at the minute. And it's made worse because my dear Nana just passed, and so there's a lot going on, right? Now, when it comes to those of you that are single, it could be that a past relationship or connection that maybe came to an abrupt end or whatever, maybe you come to realise, like, that person says something to you, maybe you have a conversation with a friend of theirs or a mutual friend, or somebody says something, and you just become really acutely aware where you're kind of like, wow, okay, I didn't even realise that this was a thing within that relationship. And so you see that they saw things very differently to you and vice versa. It could be as well, especially because you've got the Seven of Cups here, It may very well be that there is an addiction present, whether this is yours or theirs, I couldn't tell you, but that might be a part of why that relationship didn't work. And when it's divulged, it might get you to see things very differently. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there will be some conversation about an addiction of some sort this week. And when it does come to light, I think whoever the person is that has the I wouldn't say it's like a full on addiction at this point, but it's definitely run away with itself. I think once it's highlighted, whoever these parties are will probably kind of say to themselves like, well, wow, you know what? I hadn't even stopped, right? I hadn't even stopped to consider. So it'll be interesting to see how that shows up. And then finally, when it comes to your money and materials, you've got the Emperor. This is a good card for money. So your King of Wands, fire sign male, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, is very likely to be an Aries. An Aries person could help and or assist you in some way. They could also give you the boot up the butt that you need in order to kind of progress. Now, the Emperor in your money, this is you getting on top of your finances. It's you getting on top of your resources. For a lot of you, you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's when it comes to your money this week in order to kind of get clear on how to move forward, right? So you're sorting out the budget, which I actually really like. And then finally, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your head, your face, your mind. With the Magician card here as well, this could be a lot of mental faculty capacity going on. And this does suggest that there is a very powerful psychic energy around you at this moment in time. Use that to look at the things that you usually, no offense to Pisces, you do have a good intuition, but I've never really met, if I'm completely honest with you, I've never met a Pisces that can direct that intuition. That is just everything all the time, everywhere. And that's not helpful. This is why I say that Cancer is the most psychic of the signs, because they're able to take that intuition and see what they want to see when they need to see it. This week you have a bit more discernment, and therefore with the Emperor you've got a bit more control over your intuition, which means something in the universe is facilitating this. So if there are things that you need to know, things that you want to see, or things that you want to pinpoint, this is the week to ask those questions, because you'll get answers. Finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the Four of Wands, the Emperor is a good card for home, but it does suggest that you are setting some very firm, not just boundaries, but you're setting some very clear sort of terms and conditions around a home matter and or project. So it'll be interesting to see how this shows up. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.